you.
Do you think Blackout will ever be sold standalone?
Man, be interesting, wouldn't it?
You think it could work?
I had nothing to do with the business, guys. I make video games.
Any chance Black Ops 4 is coming to Switch?
I just make the shoes.
Are you guys really launching in October just to get ahead of Red Dead Redemption 2? Is that a consideration?
Is that a thing people say?
Yes, everyone says that.
Oh, I don't know. I just make the shoes.
How many names did you guys consider before you landed on Blackout?
Many. Publisher considered many names.
Okay.
We had one that we liked.
You like Blackout, though?
I'm happy with Blackout. I
Good
like
middle ground?
Life's challenging and requires compromise and negotiation.
Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And I wanted to take the time in this video to do something that I guess a lot of people haven't really done all that much, at least not from what I've seen on YouTube or any other social media or whatnot. And I know it's been quite a while since around the time that this game was in its full life cycle in terms of Black Ops 4 and everything in between. But the thing is, well, better late than never, right? And of course, with all the kind of tweets that Vonderhaar's been doing lately on Twitter, or I should say more recently, well, the thing is, it still may be a possibility that he is involved in some way, shape, or form with the next Black Ops game or the next Treyarch game, COD 2020, whatever you want to call it. So, but regardless of the matter, whether he is involved or not, we need to, I want to take this time to apologize to David Vonderhaar, because for a while, ever since the microtransaction system was implemented, you know, obviously this interview that you just saw, or the clips of it that I've edited and put together and cut out, you know, states that he makes the shoes. But for the longest time, once the microtransaction system was unveiled to us in Black Ops 4, he's one of the people that were getting roasted on the internet. A whole bunch of YouTubers were making videos is basically roasting the guy, just saying, oh yeah, you just make the shoes, bull fucking shit. But if you put everything together, what you just saw in those clips, it just goes to show you, as well as the tweet that Condrey recently put up that myself and other YouTubers have talked about as well, well, it just goes to show you that they have little to no control. I mean, hell, the developers didn't even have control of what they wanted to call their battle royale, for goodness sake. I mean, it's so, I mean, I was originally going to entitle this video apologizing to Vonderhaar and Joe Seacott, but I'm not entirely too sure about Joe Seacott. It could be absolutely true that that Activision might have also influenced the design of the game beyond skill-based matchmaking, in terms of providing safe spaces and making the weapons more lethal and giving players and noobs places to hide or whatnot. But at the same time, I mean, it's never been done from a gameplay standpoint to that degree, so I'm not sure. A part of me wants to give Seacott the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, I'm not too sure. Granted, I know that the game, in terms of Modern Warfare, would probably be a little bit more fun to play if it wasn't for the skill-based matchmaking being implemented, which is the biggest topic of discussion when it comes to Call of Duty nowadays, especially when it comes to Modern Warfare. But the game would be a little bit more playable if it wasn't for that case. I mean, reverse boosting gameplays pretty much show that. And I still think Modern Warfare would still be one of the campiest CODs ever made that would put Ghost to shame. But it still wouldn't be as bad as it is now if it wasn't for the skill-based matchmaking. So, again, the gameplay design also limits what you can and cannot do. It's simple as that. So it really would be easy to believe that Activision stepped in and said, hey, if you don't design the game this way, we're going to design it for you. Kind of like in a sense to where Treyarch had no choice but to say, okay, we'll call this Blackout, even though we wanted to call it something else. I think Warzone was what they were originally were going to call it. But for whatever reason, Activision said no. Maybe Infinity Ward was already making Warzone and they decided to call it Warzone first. I don't know. I'm not sure. Or maybe just Activision just said no just because, I don't know, they didn't feel like it or whatever. I don't know. But everybody was roasting Vonderhaar about when he said, I just make the shoes. And honestly, though, when you look at Condrey's recent tweet and the between the lines of parts of this interview that I cut and put together from IGN, it just goes to show you, man, the guy wasn't lying. The guy was honestly telling the truth. And we roasted him. A whole bunch of people roasted him. Some a little bit less, some a little bit more. But the thing is, when you look at the microtransaction of Infinite Warfare and the microtransaction system of World War II and how those were infinitely better than Black Ops 4, it kind of makes you think a little bit, maybe it is Treyarch's fault. And since Vahn is a big player at Treyarch, the second biggest player, Mark Lamia being the number one and Von der Haar being number two or whatnot, how can you not blame Von der Haar? But again, now with Condrey kind of letting us in a little bit more that Activision is more involved than just the business side of things. They're also involved in the development side of things. And we should have seen this shit coming in this interview that I put in the very beginning of this video, because we just didn't look that much into it in terms of the name of what it ended up being, which is Blackout, and how Treyarch wanted something different, but the publisher said no. So what's to stop them from making decisions from a gameplay standpoint beyond just skill-based matchmaking or the name calling of a certain specific mode? So, granted, Infinite Warfare, okay, let me tell you guys something. Infinite Warfare from a gameplay standpoint, whether it was a boots-on-the-ground game or a jetpack game, let me tell you something. Infinite Warfare from a gameplay standpoint, I know some of you guys are going to crucify me for this, but I don't give a fuck. Infinite Warfare from a gameplay standpoint, even from a microtransaction standpoint, a community-friendly standpoint, way better than Modern Warfare. Really, way better. There's a few things that Modern Warfare does better, sure, but those things are not enough to make the game, from a gameplay standpoint, better. And with replay value and all that other shit. Despite the fact that there's crossplay with Modern Warfare and despite the fact that there's free DLC maps or whatnot, again, maps can be free all they want, but if those maps are shit, then what are they worth really? They're worth nothing. So the thing is this. Infinite Warfare was hated among the community. I beyond hated. Even if Thunder is watching this video, which I would say respectfully, be like, give Infinite Warfare a shot, man. You'd be surprised. You might actually end up liking it, especially when you compare it to Modern Warfare. It's just a slightly faster version of Black Ops 3, and in some ways, actually, Infinite Warfare did a couple of things, in my opinion, that were better than Black Ops 3. Even though Black Ops 3 was a gem in and of itself, you might be surprised of how much you might like Infinite Warfare. So Thunder, if you haven't even tried Infinite Warfare, for those of you guys that haven't really given it a fair shot, I recommend you give it a shot. Really, what do you have to lose except for some fun? And there's plenty of players that still play it. Again, don't get me wrong. It's not like the game itself isn't without its problems. But in terms of the fun factor and in terms of playing a more traditional Call of Duty in terms of arcade, fast-paced first-person shooter, you can play the game and have fun with it. And you can even play boots on the ground if you want. It is a little bit of more aggressive than Black Ops 3 in terms of the jetpacks, but you can still do boots on the ground if you wanted to. And even if you were to try to use your jetpacks over aggressively, don't be surprised if you have a little bit more fun with it because of how much smoother it is. It's a little bit smoother in Black Ops 3 and a little bit faster. So that might be something as well. But all in all, guys, because Infinite Warfare was so hated ever since the trailer, and because it took place in space, and because it had advanced movement as well, it was overly hated. So therefore, that is when Activision decided to step in that much more, because Infinite Warfare got so much backlash and hate, and they said, you know what, we're going to take over part of your design process. At least that's what I'm thinking happened. So part of me wants to give Joe Seacott the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, I'm still kind of sketchy and wary about it. So I'm going to hold off on that, because originally I was going to entitle this video something else. I was going to include him as well, but I just wanted to at least just mention the possibility of that in the game. So with that being said, Vahn, I apologize, and I'm sure I speak for the rest of the good of the community when I say we apologize for roasting you when you were being 100% completely honest. And I know it's late, but in case there's a 1/10000000th of a chance that you're watching this or happen to see this, again, I apologize and thank you for being honest, and thank you for all the time that you've provided us with some great Black Ops games, and a lot of people like World of War as well. And if you are involved in Call of Duty 2020, I look forward to seeing what you guys have to offer. And that's all I got for this one, guys. Let me know down in the comments section what you think and your opinions as well. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. And if you didn't, let me know what I can do to make my videos better. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.